Honestly, this is the video y'all been waiting on. I'm about to give you all the tea. Hi honeys, my name is Bree and welcome to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about tech. Now, if you know me, I have been working in the tech industry for the past 5 years with no background or degree in computer science, without any experience in knowing how to code or program softwares or work with any bunch of funky numbers or letters. But I have made a career out of this, making over $100,000 a year, and I'm going to tell you how you can do it too. So if this is for you and you want to know how to get into the tech industry and you're thinking about switching careers and switching lanes, listen up to my top 5 tips to get you started. So tip number 1, know your why. And if you watched my first video on moving away from home, I said the same thing because I think it's important to know why you're about to do something. Social media makes working in tech seem super trendy and cool, and as if we just sit around and go to happy hours and don't do any work. And that's not true. It's an amazing marketing tactic to get people to work at their companies or get into the industry, but that's not actually our day-to-day lives. We do work just like everybody else. So I would recommend have a reasoning why you want to get into tech, just beyond the benefits of flexible PTO, being able to work from home, and these cool office spaces that a lot of these new companies have now. Because working in tech is just like any other job. There's going to be days you don't like your coworkers, you don't like your boss, you don't like your customers or your clients or whomever you're working with. So make sure that there's something beyond just having cool happy hours or being able to take off when you want to get you through the tough days. Because after a while, those benefits aren't going to be the main thing to see you through. So make sure you have a reason on why you're wanting to switch to tech, and it's an industry that you're actually interested in beyond the benefits. Because believe it or not, other industries offer these same benefits that tech does. Okay, so I said this at the beginning of the video, but tip number 2 is that you do not need to know how to code in order to get a job in tech. And you also don't need a computer science degree to get a job in tech as well. My bachelor's degree is in media communications and digital marketing. And although that may sound techy, I promise you, y'all, I didn't do a single tech thing in my 4 years of college at all. I sort of fell into the tech industry. My biggest goal when graduating college was actually just to move to Atlanta, Georgia. So I was applying to anything and anyone that was hiring at the time. I happened to get a job as a customer success manager in a tech company. Now, essentially, customer success managers do the same thing as a customer service rep in any industry or at any company. The only difference is that your clients are B2B, so meaning that they're business to business. So I was working with other businesses whose job was to also work with other businesses. So my title was customer success manager, but a lot of what my soft skills were working in college as a customer service rep translated over and was able to get me the job. You probably already have things on your resume that translate over into the tech world as well, depending on the role that you're wanting to go into. So maybe you have background in marketing, maybe you have background in customer service, maybe you have background in just doing tech support or project management, event planning, HR. Those are all roles that exist in the tech industry. So find a way to really spruce your resume that allows you to translate the work that you've done, but it speaks to the job that you're applying for. Tip number 3, be ready to start small. Just because you have years of experience working at another company or in a different industry doesn't mean everything you've done will translate over to the tech world. You may find yourself starting over. Just because I have 5 years experience as working in customer success in the tech industry doesn't mean I can go over to the medical world and do client management and get paid the same or expect the same treatment. So be ready to start over when you're switching industries. There's still a lot to learn outside of what you already know. And if you're not wanting to start all the way from the beginning, I would recommend looking up the position that you want to get into. If there's any sort of like certifications that are required or just any other skills that you can grab before jumping into the industry. For example, there are a lot of softwares used across all tech companies that you can go and get certified in or get experience in before jumping into the tech world. The tech industry does offer a lot of perks, but it doesn't happen overnight. For example, my first job, like I mentioned, when I was working in tech as a customer success manager, I was making $42,500 a year. Now I was 22 years old, so like that was good money, okay? I was only working 8 to 5 every day, but I was going in office every single day. I couldn't even take my computer home. It was like stationary to my desk. So if I couldn't come to work and work, I had to essentially take a sick or PTO day. Speaking of sick or PTO days, I had the standard, which was like somewhere between 15 to 18 days a year. And that was pretty much it. We were business casual, so I was also dressing up going to the office, and there was no big office perks. I was lucky to find a plastic fork in the kitchen in order to eat my lunch. Unlike some of these companies now that offer like an in-house chef that cooks for them every single day. So just know that not every tech company is also going to offer every single perk that you're looking for. You may need to start small, get the experience that you need under your belt before you start looking for companies that's going to offer every single one of the perks that you're looking for. Tip number 4 is do the research on your own. You can sit on social media all day long and listen to people like me give you tips on how to get started, but really go out there and study it. Find articles that talk about the stuff that you want to do. Make sure you're networking and making connections with people that are in the industry that you want to get in. So if you find someone on LinkedIn that happens to work in a tech company and does something similar that you want to do, I would make a connection with them and just ask them questions about the certain skills that they have or what their day-to-day is like if you're looking to get into that field. Sign up for free webinars or classes or even cheap webinars and classes. Almost every other day after work, I was going down to the General Assembly office in, I think, the Ponce City Market building in Atlanta, and I was taking classes. I was signing up for just learning things about tech. I was taking basic coding classes, thinking that was something that I needed to know, but they also have classes about marketing. They have classes about customer service, B2B marketing, things like that. So find out what's happening not only locally near you so you can get involved, but look online. There's many of places for webinars that you can sign up for. And if I can remember any of the ones that I was originally taking, I will link those sites below in the description box so you can sign up as well. Your resume is going to be the first thing they see. You won't get a chance to get on a call and say, hey, I used to work at the van store, and because I used to do this, like this works well for you guys at your company. No, your resume needs to speak for it for itself. For example, instead of me putting something on my resume like selling shoes to customers or selling 50 shoes a day, I would talk about other opportunities that I've done, like what we would call upsell opportunities that you hear a lot in like customer success roles, especially in the tech world. But it's probably something you've also done if you've ever worked at like a clothing store, trying to sell shoelaces or socks to a customer when you're at the register. That's considered an upsell opportunity. Or let's say you work at a phone store like Verizon or AT&T and someone calls in to wanting to cancel their service. Do you just immediately sit there and say, okay, we're going to cancel it for you? Or do you guys have a process on trying to avoid that cancellation and get that customer to stay with you? That's another thing that translates over into the tech world. We call that churn. So in the tech world, especially within customer service or customer success, you'll hear that as lowering churn by X% or contract renewal rate. So make sure you're finding ways that translate the work you've done into your resume. It needs to speak to the job that you're wanting to get, and find those keywords. Research. Guys, all these tips are actually sort of running together. And so if you're following this really in this order, you're going to end up with a beautiful resume. You're going to end up knowing more than what you started with. And you're also going to have a good understanding of the job you're going to want to get into. And you're going to have more confidence about being able to get a job in tech. Okay, so I'll give you guys a bonus tip, and this one is just 100% based off of my experience. And so this is my own opinion based off of how I was able to move up in 5 years in the tech world and make it to 6 figures in an industry that essentially I had no real direct experience in. I prefer to work at startup tech companies. Startup companies will give you the opportunity to learn so much at a faster rate than maybe working at a company that has 300 plus employees. Those companies look really cool. That's the Googles, the Microsofts, the LinkedIns, and things like that. But on top of those offices looking really cool and they make the experience seem awesome on social media, they have a lot of requirements. You're not going to be able to just jump in there from day one with little background and get a job at a LinkedIn or a Microsoft or a Google. If you do, let me know how you did it and make your own video, because your girl is trying to get like you. That's most likely not the case, and essentially that's okay. I personally don't have a passion in working in companies that large, because I like to work in places where I can make an impact and I can see changes, because it makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something like really on a day-to-day within the company overall, and not just like the little work that I'm doing, if that makes sense. On top of being able to make more of an impact at startup companies, you get the same amount of benefits. startup companies are newer, right? So they haven't been around that long. So most of their employees are going to be Gen Z or millennials that are working at their company who want all those same benefits that we've been talking about, right? The work from home, the flexible PTO, getting the brand new laptop. A lot of that is actually really common in startup companies because they know that who's going to be coming on board and working on their team are going to probably be people around their 30s, 20s. Again, the millennial Gen Z era. You know, we ain't working 90 hours a day. I know that's not possible, but we are not working 90 hours a day for pennies and little benefits anymore. That's just not our generation when it comes to the things that we want. Newer tech companies know that. They are also going to hop on the trend of what those benefits are that people are looking for in tech companies, mainly because they're not Fortune 500 companies with 500 plus employees with 3 headquarter offices across the globe. You know, do all those like extra things that you see at large tech companies that startups can't offer. I would personally say startup and tech companies, they offer the same amount of benefits. You're going to learn so much very fast. And you're going to be able to make an impact at the company. You're going to be able to learn a lot because obviously startups are small. You are going to be doing more work than what you got hired to do. And I know at this moment, there's going to be some people that are like, girl, count me out. I want to do just my job description and that's it and go home. But I will tell you, I have been able to move up as quickly as I have because I have been wanting to be like, hey, let me know if I can help here. Let me know if I can help here. I would love to help in this department. I would love to be able to help here. And because startup companies are smaller, they are okay with that. They're working on a smaller budget than companies like Google and Microsoft, right? So they would love to have employees that are willing to help out in other areas. I may get hired to do customer success work and then find myself helping in marketing or find myself giving inputs on dev. Point is, I'm gaining a lot of experience technically under this one role in the matter of 3 to 6 months that I've been there. In the startup world, I've seen people get 10K raises in a matter of their first 3 months at the company or their first 6 months at the company. This is real life stuff that I've seen. But you will find yourself making more at these startups because they're wanting to focus on employee retention, and it's cheaper to just pay you a little more than it is to hire a whole nother person. Just in my first year of tech, I started my first job in May of 2017, making $42,500. And then by October of 2017, I was making 50K. And then by July of 2018, I was making 77. And then boom, 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 boom. And I kept just only going up from there. I am not saying that that's going to be everyone's experience. You are not going to immediately jump into tech and find yourself 3 to 6 months in making like 10K more. That may not be the space, even if you're at a startup, just depending on their budget and what their work looks like. But I'm telling you, if you dedicate yourself and you work really hard and you're willing to help out in other areas and be that team player really that's willing to wear many hats, which is a big saying across tech companies, especially startups, then you will see yourself growing very fast. And I would say just my personal experience, just the way that it seems to work out for me, I have just personally seen really good impact when working in startups. And that's how I was able to make myself essentially in 4.5 years, about 4 years, 4.5 years, I saw myself go from $42,500 to over 100K a year. So that's just something to keep in mind. So those are all my tips today. I think I've talked enough. Hopefully those are really helpful for you guys, for anyone that's looking to get into the tech industry. I do offer like coaching or consulting. So if anyone does have any questions about getting into tech, I don't charge for it. I am just here to help. I would love to just help anyone else. If there was anyone that was able to help me when I got started, like I would have loved to reach out to them. So I want to be able to do the same for you. Go ahead and reach out to me on social media. It's all the same handle, which is HNYBRI. Probably the best way to contact me if you're wanting more information about getting into tech, or perhaps you want me to review your resume, just go ahead and DM me on Instagram for that. And I'm happy to connect with you there. And these tips are what I've seen work for me and what I've seen work for other people that I have coached and consulted that wanted to get into the industry. As always, this is a place of positivity and light. So leave me something positive in the feedback for myself and anyone else that is looking to get into tech. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like the video. It lets me know that this was something that you guys really liked. And leave a comment. And even if you just leave a smiley face or just say hey, or let me know that you're supporting, I appreciate that as well. And send this to anyone who's also looking to get into tech. I will catch you guys in the next video. Mwah.